I took her up somewhere nice in Kenya and proposed.
And you said yes, obviously.
Of course, yes. Yeah.
When did it happen? How did it happen?
It happened a few weeks ago. We first met, we were introduced actually by a mutual friend who
we should protect her privacy and not reveal too much of that.
And
what kind of ring is it? Are you an expert on what's...
I'm not an expert on at all. I've been reliably informed it's a sapphire with some diamonds.
And
it's beautiful. And he designed it. It's incredible.
In this requested video, I'll analyze important differences between William and Kate's engagement interview and Harry and Meghan's engagement interview. There are noteworthy differences between the two interviews that I think many of you will find exciting. The point of this video is to explain what's going on and to come up with possible reasons why some people find William and Kate more convincing than Harry and Meghan. My observations are mostly verbal. There'll also be written observations. Check my videos and playlists for more videos about Harry and Meghan. Welcome to the channel. I'm a linguist trained in linguistic methods that are designed to decode statements and conversations. I analyze the language of criminals and media personalities. If you find this kind of content exciting, please subscribe to the channel. I enjoy reading your comments, whether you're making observations or sharing your own life experiences. Your comments are important to other users too, so thank you for writing them. Before we go forward, please don't forget to hit the like button. That helps a lot. Thank you. William and Kate and Harry and Meghan are both asked how the proposal went.
William, where did you propose? When, how, and Kate, what did you say?
It was about 3 weeks ago on a holiday in Kenya. We had a little private time away together with some friends, and I just decided that it was the right time, really. We've been talking about marriage for a while, so it wasn't a massively big surprise, but I took her up somewhere nice in Kenya and proposed.
It's very romantic. There's a true romantic in that.
There is.
And you said yes, obviously.
Of course, yes. Yeah.
The interviewer mentions both William and Kate in his question, so we can expect both William and Kate to say something. The two of them answer according to the order in the question. William first and Kate second. After William's verb proposed, there's a so-called transition relevance place, or TRP for short. This is where it's normal for another speaker to take the turn to speak.
I took her up somewhere nice in Kenya and proposed.
Kate takes the turn to say how romantic it was and thus supports William's narrative.
It's very romantic. There's a true romantic in that.
In general, Kate's very much supportive of William's statements.
Thankfully.
And you knew you were going to do this from day one of the holiday, or you waited till the end?
I'd been planning it for a while, but as every guy out there will know, it takes a certain amount of motivation to get yourself going. So I was planning it, and then it just felt really right out in Africa. It was beautiful at the time, and I had done a little bit of planning to obviously show my romantic side.
Okay, you'd been on holiday a while, so did you see this coming? Was he getting a bit nervous and jumpy?
No, not at all, no, because we were out there with friends and things, so I really didn't expect it at all. I thought he might have sort of maybe thought about it, but no. It was a total shock when it came, and very excited.
And he produced a ring?
Yeah.
There and then?
I did, yeah. I'd been carrying it around with me in my rucksack for about 3 weeks before that.
When William says he'd done a bit of planning to share his romantic side, we see an initial glimpse of his understated sense of humor.
I had done a little bit of planning to obviously show my romantic side.
In general, his humor is based on this ironic self-praise. In an interview like this, with a lot of pressure on Kate as the new member of the family, humor can help in making the situation more relaxed. William remains relaxed throughout the interview, showing that he's used to these situations. Let's compare this question-answer exchange to the exchange in Harry and Meghan's interview.
Congratulations to you both.
Thank you.
Can we start with the proposal and the actual moment of your engagement? When did it happen? How did it happen?
Meghan keeps a firm gaze on Harry when he answers, and we notice her approving interjection after Harry's first sentence.
It happened a few weeks ago.
The arm gesture, gaze, and approving interjections all show that Meghan's comfortable leading this interview, and as we'll observe later, controlling the direction of it as well. Harry, however, shows hesitation. The interjection is called a hesitation marker, and the vowel lengthening delays it even further. His recurring hesitation markers and micropauses reveal that he's having trouble answering. Hence, his very quick selection of Meghan is unsurprising.
It happened a few weeks ago, earlier this month, here at our cottage. Just a standard, typical night for us.
It's a cozy night. It was.
His selection consists of 3 factors: gaze, grammatical completion, and slightly rising intonation, as if he's asking her. Through gaze and intonation, Meghan selects Harry to support her narrative that she could barely let him finish proposing. The exchanges we've seen are indicative of the assignment of roles in the 2 relationships, William and Kate and Harry and Meghan. Let's return to William and Kate.
And I guess we better have a look at it. What kind of ring is it? Are you an expert on what's...
I'm not an expert on it at all. I've been reliably informed it's a sapphire with some diamonds, but I'm sure everyone recognises it from previous times. So.
And Kate, you're going to be an envy of many, I would.
Well, I just hope I look after it.
Yeah. She loses,
but no,
she's in big trouble.
it's very, very special.
With "Yeah, it's beautiful," Kate again supports William's statements, this time about the ring. She reacts as soon as the interviewer mentions the initial letters of her name.
And Kate,
But the interviewer's statement is different than she had probably expected. The interviewer says she's going to be the envy of many.
You're going to be an envy of many.
With the noun envy, this statement has possible negative connotations. Kate appears to be aware of these negative connotations because she starts off with the discourse marker well, indicating a slight contrast between what the interviewer said and what she's about to say. And instead of agreeing with the interviewer or parroting his word choice, she says, "I just hope I look after it."
Well, I just hope I look after it.
Which signals modesty. Her words
It's very, very special.
tell the interviewer that he should ask a new question. It's likely that the interviewer's statement causes slight embarrassment. Next, in William's answer, we get to see a character trait that many people find likable. Being honest about how he feels inside, while still being able to joke about it. This signals control and being comfortable in his own skin, so to speak. In an interview like this way of remaining calm has a relieving effect on the other more nervous and shy speaker, in this case Kate.
It has to be said, you both look incredibly happy and relaxed.
We are. We're like sort of ducks. It's sort of very calm on the surface, but little feet going under the water. But no, it's been really exciting. We've been talking about it for a long time. So for us, it's a real relief, and it's really nice to be able to tell everybody, because especially the last 2 or 3 weeks have been quite difficult not telling anyone, keeping it to ourselves for reasons we had to. And it's really nice to finally be able to share it with everyone.
In contrast, Harry doesn't seem very calm or relaxed, and it could be argued that he's not allowed to either, because Meghan's very focused on controlling the direction of the conversation. The following excerpt exemplifies what I mean. We should pay attention to Harry's nervous breaths in during his answer.
How did you first meet?
Yes, we first met, we were introduced actually by a mutual friend who
We should protect her privacy and not reveal too much of that.
And but it was literally, it was through her, and then we met once and then twice back to back, 2 dates in London. Last July,
yes,
beginning of July, and then it was, I think, about 3, maybe 4 weeks later that I managed to persuade her to come and join me in Botswana, and we camped out with each other under the stars. She came and joined me for 5 days out there, which was absolutely fantastic. So then we were really by ourselves, which was crucial to me, to make sure that we had a chance to get to know each other.
Yeah.
Meghan interjects as she focuses her gaze on Harry.
How did you first meet?
Yes, we first met.
This interjection's a presupposition that Meghan knows there is a story to tell and that the story is potentially dangerous. It's also a hint to Harry that she also has something to say about the first meeting. Harry says, The hesitation marker indicates that he's looking for a way to finish the sentence. The subject that the interviewer brought up is obviously sensitive to Meghan, since she doesn't wait for Harry to finish. She says,
We should protect her privacy.
While looking at the interviewer, But she then focuses her gaze on Harry as she says,
And not
privacy,
reveal too much of that.
And
this last part of her utterance becomes a reminder to Harry, a reminder that he should be careful in answering this question. Meghan's initial interjection and now this reminder indicate that she wants to control the answer to this question. There's another aspect of Harry's way of answering that I call bending. This means completing a turn quickly when the speaker doesn't get attention from the other speaker, in this case Meghan. In the following, even though he seems very much invested in answering, he quickly finishes his line of statements when he sees that Meghan's focused her gaze on the interviewer. Meghan starts out answering how wonderful Harry's family's been.
Have you met each other's families, I imagine?
Yes, his family's been so welcoming, and
you've met quite a few of them actually.
I have, on both sides of his family, his mom's side as well, which has been really important to me too. But yes, the family has been great, and over the past year and a half, we've just had a really nice time getting to know them and progressively helping me feel a part of not just the institution, but also part of the family, which has been really, really special.
Trying to track them down and make sure that they're around at the same time that she's popping in without telling too many people. And so we've actually done incredibly well to make sure that you've met all the key people.
So does that mean a lot of the...
Let's see the last part again.
We've actually done incredibly well to make sure that you've met all the key people.
So does that mean a lot of the...
Harry lets Meghan's body language decide when he should stop talking. In this excerpt, we also learn that Meghan's very comfortable taking the turn to talk about Harry's family, even though the question was asked to both of them.
Have you met each other's families, I imagine?
Yes, his family's been so welcoming, and
Let's return to William and Kate. William again applies an understated sense of humor, and the fact that he's looking at Kate while doing so suggests that he's trying to get her to relax. Also, he brings up a subject that's easy for Kate to elaborate on. This is an example of empathy.
And you obviously have kept it a secret, so when did you ask Kate's dad, and what did he say, and what did your respective parents say when you told them?
Well, I was torn between asking Kate's dad first, and then the realisation that he might actually say no dawned upon me. So I thought if I ask Kate first, then he can't really say no. So I did that way round, and managed to speak to Mike sort of soon after it happened, really, and then it sort of happened from there.
It's interesting to note the difference between the two couples. Harry doesn't need to calm Meghan down or involve her, because she's already comfortable and already involved in the majority of the answers. And compared to Meghan, Kate favors the so-called Rule 1A of determining who gets the next turn. There are 3 basic rules for how turns in conversations are distributed at a transition relevance place. While Meghan frequently self-selects, Kate waits for permission to speak.
Kate, what did your mum say?
Well, I think as any mother would be, she was absolutely over the moon. And actually we had quite an awkward situation because I knew that William had asked my father, but I didn't know if my mother knew. So I came back from Scotland, and my mother made it didn't make it clear to me whether she knew or not. So both of us were there, sort of looking at each other and feeling quite awkward about it. But it was amazing to tell her, and obviously she was very happy for us.
With the words,
Well, I think as any mother would be, she was absolutely over the moon.
Kate associates with other people, thus normalizing her mother's reaction. That her mother didn't react like this because it was a prince, but because it was a son-in-law. Kate's clearly picked up on William's attempt at humor, as she's now comfortable enough to describe this awkward situation. But she doesn't take the floor, so to speak. She's shy and hesitant about telling it. This is in contrast to Meghan, who's not only more willing to take the floor with much longer turns, but who's also making deliberate statements that point to a pre-planned agenda with the interview. In the following, the interviewer only asks Meghan if the friend tried to set them up. Still, Meghan adds that she allegedly didn't know a lot about Harry.
But the friend who introduced you, was she trying to set you up?
yes, it was definitely a setup. It was a blind date.
It was a blind date,
And
for sure.
it's so interesting because we talk about it now, and even then, because I'm from the States, you don't grow up with the same understanding of the royal family, and so while I now understand very clearly there's a global interest there, I didn't know much about him, and so the only thing that I had asked her when she said she wanted to set us up was, I had one question. I said, well, is he nice? Because if he wasn't kind, it just didn't seem like it would make sense. And so we went and met for a drink, and then I think very quickly into that we said, well, what are we doing tomorrow? We should meet again.
What are we doing tomorrow? Let's meet again. And then it was like, right, diaries.
It's obviously sensitive, highly important to Meghan to emphasize the alleged natural and uncalculated attraction between the two. Ultimately, this is self-serving language. This kind of language reappears as Meghan's describing the authentic and organic way they got to know each other.
I think for both of us, though, it was really refreshing because given that I didn't know a lot about him, everything that I've learned about him, I learned through him, as opposed to having grown up around different news stories or tabloids or whatever else. Anything I learned about him and his family was what he would share with me, and vice versa. So for both of us, it was just a really authentic and organic way to get to know each other.
Next, Kate's asked about her close-knit family. Quickly, she involves William in her answer. This way, she doesn't take up the floor, and also she avoids sharing too much personal information. This again speaks to Kate's more taciturn personality.
I mean, one of the things that's been clear actually for a long time is you very evidently have a close-knit family, and family is very important to you.
Yeah, no, it's very important to me, and I hope we'll be able to have a happy family ourselves, because it's been they've been great over the years, helping me with difficult times, and we see a lot of each other, and they're very, very dear to me.
Once more, Kate uses the words very, very to complete her turn, and oftentimes it seems like she can't wait to let the interviewer ask the next question. In conversations, people often have predictable ways of closing their turns. These closings function as cues to the other speaker that they're done talking. Kate answers in the moment, so to speak. Meghan's answers are clearly more calculated. This is not to say that there's something inherently bad about calculated answers, but the difference in how audiences perceive Kate and Meghan, respectively, could be huge as a result of it. We can think of politicians whose rehearsed and manipulative words only few people trust. It all comes down to context. Previously, we observed the pressure that Harry was under to tell about how he and Meghan first met.
Yes, we first met. We were introduced actually by a mutual friend who
we should protect her privacy and not reveal too much of that.
And
what could have been a relaxed recollection of events was turned into a pressure situation. Notice the much more relaxed nature of William's recollection.
Going back to the start, because I think people, as I say, will be very curious about the totality of your relationship. When did you first set eyes on each other, and what did you think?
Well, it's a long time ago now, Tom. I'm trying to rack my brain about it all. But we met at university at St Andrews, and we were friends for over a year first. And it just sort of blossomed from then on. We just spent more time with each other and had a good giggle, had lots of fun, and realised we shared the same interests, and just had a really good time. She's got a really nice sense of humour, which kind of helps me because I've got a very dirty sense of humour. So it was good fun. We had a really good laugh, and then things happened.
And Kate, what did you think of William? I mean, he's clearly not quite the same as meeting your average, university student. Maybe it was, I don't know. But what was your first impression?
Well, I think when you said, I actually went bright red when I met you and sort of scuttled off, feeling very shy about meeting you. But and actually, William wasn't there for quite a bit of the time initially. He wasn't there for Freshers' Week, and so it did take a bit of time for us to get to know each other. But we did become, very close friends from quite early on.
By mentioning the interviewer's first name, William displays both control and that he's comfortable.
Well, it's a long time ago now, Tom. I'm trying to rack my brain about it all.
With this relaxed way of answering, he's also indirectly letting Kate know that it's okay to not take the interview so seriously. After William's turn, Kate doesn't self-select, but waits for the interviewer to ask her. She observes Rule 1A. And again, it's not because she thinks I've got to observe Rule 1A. It's an academic term used for one of the main turn-taking mechanisms in conversations. It's interesting to note Kate's pronoun switch. She says,
I actually went bright red when I met you and sort of scuttled off, feeling very shy about meeting you. But
thus addressing William. She then shifts to the more distancing he.
And actually, William wasn't there for quite a bit of the time. Initially, he wasn't there for Freshers Week. And
this indicates that Kate's first instinct is to speak directly to William when she gives these more personal details about meeting him. She closes her turn with supporting William's narrative about how they became friends.
But we did become, very close friends from quite early on.
So again, she's very supportive of him, as he is of her. In the following, we see Kate and William joke with each other, and hence a glimpse of the friendship they've been talking about. And more importantly, we see that Kate's getting more and more relaxed.
There's a story that goes the rounds that you had a picture of him on your wall as a
there
child.
wasn't just one, there was like 10, 20.
He wishes, no. No, I had the Levi's guy on my wall, not a picture of William, sorry. Sorry.
It was me and Levi's, honestly. Yeah.
Kate's also much more relaxed in the following as she interjects how William likes her cooking.
So you ended up sort of in the same flat. Was that, if you don't mind me asking, before you were going out, or?
We moved in together as friends, and then because we were living together, we lived with a couple of others as well, and it just sort of blossomed from there. Really, we just saw more of each other, hung out a bit more and did stuff. So yeah.
You like my cooking?
Well, your cooking was all right. It's got better.
Does William ever cook, or indeed do anything useful around that?
Define useful, Tom.
Let's not go there.
Yeah.
No, he does actually. He did cook for me quite a bit at university, and it would always come with a bit of angst and a bit of anger if something had gone wrong, and I'd have to wander in and save something that was going.
So being honest, is that a skill that's declining over time or improving?
I would say I'm getting better at cooking. Kate would say I'm getting a lot worse.
I didn't give you enough chance to practice, though, maybe.
No, that is true. I get quite lazy about cooking because when I come back from work and stuff, it's the last thing I want to do really is spend loads of time cooking. But when I was trying to impress Kate, I was trying to cook these amazing fancy dinners, and all that would happen was I'd burn something would overspill, something would catch on fire, and she'd be sitting in the background just trying to help and basically taking control of the whole situation. So I was quite glad she was there at the time.
Again, William's making fun of himself. Here it's his lack of cooking skills. And in another display of empathy towards the new family member, he emphasizes how Kate went in and took control of the situation. In Harry and Meghan's interview, however, Meghan almost can't wait to tell how little she knew about Harry, even though the interviewer only asked Harry.
I was beautifully surprised when I walked into that room and saw her, and there she was sitting there. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to really have to up my game. I'm going to sit down and make sure I've got a good chat.
I think for both of us, though, it was really refreshing because, given that I didn't know a lot about him, everything that I've learned about him, I learned through him, as opposed to having grown up around different news stories or tabloids or whatever else. Anything I learned about him and his family was what he would share with me, and vice versa. So for both of us, it was just a really authentic and organic way to get to know each other.
As Harry's closing his turn on the noun chat, Meghan self-selects by her turn initial breath in. She does this before the turn goes back to the interviewer.
I'm going to sit down and make sure I've got a good chat.
So obviously it's sensitive to her to make this about her as well. For the both of us, though, as she says.
I think for both of us, though, it was...
The word though marks a slight contrast with a modifying function. With her self-selection, Meghan makes it clear that it wasn't just Harry who didn't know about her. She didn't know about him either, supposedly.
So how much did you, Prince Harry, know about Meghan? Had you seen her on TV?
No, I'd never even heard about her until this friend said Meghan Markle. I was like, right, okay, give me a bit of background. what's going on here? So no, I'd never watched Suits. I'd never heard of Meghan before, and I was beautifully surprised when I walked into that room and saw her, and there she was sitting there. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to really have to up my game. I'm going to sit down and and make sure I've got a good chat.
I think for both of us, though, it was
We observe the same pattern when Meghan's obviously displeased with one of Harry's statements.
You know, if anybody else at home is listening, then maybe, you know, slow down on the dates and maybe spend more time at home. But no, it's for us, it's an opportunity to really get to know each other without other people, you know, looking or trying to take photos on their phones and all that kind of stuff. You know, with that comes with the job, comes with the role. But
Well,
where
it's like-
possible,
yeah. And we were able to really get to know each other that way, but also then to go and have friends over for dinner or to go to his family for tea or any of those sort of things. And even, you know, just to take the
Harry's multiple self-repairs reveal his internal stress before he's able to say that it comes with the role, and then minimizes his previous statement with the words.
But
Well,
where
it's like-
possible.
This internal stress seems to be influenced by Meghan's firm gaze. Harry hesitates with the interjection
But
before he completes his turn grammatically with said minimization, and he looks at Meghan for approval. Meghan makes an overlap right after Harry's hesitation marker, letting him know that she wants to take over.
But
Well,
where
it's like-
possible.
It's sensitive to her to change the direction of Harry's answer. When Harry completes the sentence, Meghan says, yeah. This kind of yeah is a way for Meghan to cut Harry off and secure the next turn, either before Harry continues or the turn returns to the interviewer.
But
Well,
where
it's like-
possible.
yeah.
In conclusion, there's an almost competitive atmosphere in this interview. Meghan's also not shy about listing her accomplishments when she's triggered by 4 words in one of the interviewer's questions.
And it's an immense change. You're getting a new country out of it, a husband obviously, but also giving up your
nice.
career.
This is nice. Yes. But I don't see it as giving anything up. I just see it as a change.
It's a new challenge. It's a
new chapter, right? And also keep in mind, I've been working on my show for 7 years. So we were very, very fortunate to be able to have that sort of longevity on a series. And for me, once we hit the 100 episode marker, I thought, you know what, I have ticked this box and I feel really proud of the work I've done there. And now it's time to, as you said, work as a team with you. Yeah.
Meghan says,
It's a new chapter, right? And
in this context, Wright has an inbuilt preference for agreement. It's not an actual question. We should note the imperative keep in mind.
and also keep in mind,
This is assertive language that presupposes that the interviewer hasn't kept this in mind before she phrased the question like this.
I've been working on my show for 7 years. So
Additionally, it's sensitive to Meghan to emphasize the success of the show, thus praising her accomplishments. Self-praise is often part of a person's defense when the person feels intimidated in some way. In William and Kate's interview, Kate's now asked what it was like to meet William's unusual family. She's visibly more nervous about answering this question.
Now, I suppose a lot of people are going to wonder, the first meeting with the families, again, not necessarily your average meeting. Kate, what was your first impression of the family?
Well, I was quite nervous about meeting William's father, but no, he's very, very welcoming and very friendly. So yeah, it couldn't have gone easier really for me. But
And meeting the grandmother, the Queen, not again like your average meeting with the grandmother. Was that nervous about that too? Or?
well, I first met her at Peter and Autumn's wedding, and again it was in amongst a lot of other guests, and she was very friendly, and no, it was fine.
She's very welcoming. She knew
Yeah.
it was a big day and everything was going on. Peter and Autumn were there and things, and she'd wanted to meet Kate for a while, so it was very nice of her to come over and say hello, and we had a little chat and got on really well.
William picks up on Kate's nervousness and waits for a transition relevance place to conclude the story about the family meeting on Kate's behalf.
She was very friendly, and no, it was fine.
She's very welcoming. She knew
Yeah.
it was a big day and everything was going on. Peter and Autumn were there and things, and she'd wanted to meet Kate for a while, so it was very nice of her to come over and say hello, and we had a little chat and got on really well.
By doing this, he also lets the interviewer know that they're ready for the next question. This is William's way of doing three things at the same time. 1. To support Kate's story about the first impressions of William's family. 2. To keep Kate from getting nervous. And 3. To normalize the family meeting, even though the interviewer tries to make it sound like an abnormal experience. So although William's relaxed, he's very much aware of the questions and aware of protecting Kate. This protection continues in the following. Kate's visibly nervous about the interviewer's more intimidating question. We note hesitation markers, self-repairs, and an excessive use of the term "you know." In this context, the term "you know" is more than just filler to buy more time to contemplate the answer while still keeping the term. It indicates acute awareness of the other people in the room, and it shows us that Kate's very much aware of herself and how she responds.
You're obviously going to enter this family, the most famous, royal family in the world. William's mother was this massive, iconic figure, the most famous figure of our age. Is that worrying? Is that intimidating? Do you think about that a lot, both of you? You particularly, Kate, obviously.
Well, obviously it'd be. I would love to have met her, and she's obviously she's an inspirational woman to look up to. Obviously to this day, and going forward and things. It is. It's a wonderful family. The members who I've met have achieved a lot, and very inspirational. So yeah, I do.
There's no pressure though, because like Kate said, it's about carving your own future.
Next, William applies humor to tone down the seriousness of the interviewer's last line of more personal questions.
So there's been a conscious, part of the reason it's taken you this long is that you've both spent a long time contemplating the future, being calm about it, pondering it, thinking about it. Is that right?
It is, yeah. Well, we've talked about it lots, haven't we? So it's always been something we've had a good chat about, and like we said, both of us we've come to the decision, pretty much together. I just chose, when to do it and how to do it, and obviously being a real romantic, I did it extremely well.
Nevertheless, the interviewer keeps asking these more controversial questions.
Okay, just coming to the close, people have placed some criticisms of you, about your work and so on. Does that hurt? How do you respond to people who say those things?
Well, I think I know I've been working very hard for the family business. Sometimes those days are long days, and I think if I know I'm working hard and I'm pulling my weight, both work and then playing hard at the same time, I think everyone who I work with, I think, can see that I'm there pulling my weight, and that's really what matters to me.
And your family, as you've said, you're very close. Does it hurt, some of what's said, or do you let it run off all your collective backs on the grounds that that's just what you have to live with? Well, again, I think the people around home are very supportive to us, and those are the people that really matter to us, our close friends and close family. And I think if they feel that you're doing the right thing, you can only be true to yourself, and you have to ignore a lot of what's said, obviously take it on board, but you have to be yourself, really, and that's how I've stuck by it, really.
This is one of the few times that Kate finds it necessary to praise her efforts in working hard for the family business. So, as was the case for Meghan, intimidating questions bring out self-praise.
And it's an immense change. You're getting a new country out of it, a husband obviously, but also giving up your
nice.
career.
This is nice. Yes. But I don't see it as giving anything up. I just see it as a change.
It's a new challenge. It's a
new chapter, right? And also keep in mind, I've been working on my show for 7 years. So we were very, very fortunate to be able to have that sort of longevity on a series. And for me,
it's worth noting, though, that the question Kate's answering is more uncomfortable than the question Meghan was asked. Meghan was asked about giving up her career, but also getting something new out of it. In contrast, Kate's confronted with people's criticisms of her work. In the following, William is becoming increasingly impatient with the questions, and even though he disguises his impatience with humor, the message is clear.
It's a massive thing you're going into now, I mean, obviously marriage is a big thing for everyone, but it's, in such a public way. Excited? A little bit terrified?
Massively excited. Quite happy when the interview's over. But no, we're hugely excited, and it's we're looking forward to spending the rest of the times, the rest of our lives together, and seeing what the future holds.
And Kate, for you, you've had a long time to sort of contemplate this moment.
Let's not over-egg the long bit.
No, it's obviously nerve-wracking because I don't know what I'm I don't know the ropes really. William was obviously used to it, but no, I'm willing to learn quickly and work hard. And
She'll do really well.
Yeah,
We'll do very well.
A lot of opportunities, obviously. Well, thank you very much for talking to us. You look, as I said at the start, very relaxed, very happy. Good luck.
Thank you.
Prince Harry, Meghan Markle, thank you both very much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for your time, and please don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to make sure you're notified about the videos I put out. See you in the next video.